I think we got one more slide. The NFC North: Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings. Start out with the Lions. Won the division last year. Came within 2 minutes of being the representative of the NFC in the Super Bowl. Really should have beaten San Francisco. And I think if the Lions make it to the Super Bowl, I think they give Kansas City a problem. I don't know if they give them more of a problem than San Francisco, but in terms of coaching and doing what they do, they're an interesting team. They have made some changes. Let me pull up their depth chart real quick. They made some changes. Not many, but Jamison Williams is supposed to be the next guy over there. Jared Goff, David Montgomery. They signed Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know who their third receiver is. And then, of course, Sam Laporta is that dude. And then on defense, they got Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, which was a crazy signing from the Saints. I can't believe they let him go. And then you also got Terrion Arnold and Carlton Davis from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they also drafted Enos Ragshaw. And they drafted Brian Branch. I forgot they got Brian Branch from last year. And got Jack Campbell. This team is loaded with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
All right, so I'm going to get to my point. Then we're going to celebrate. First thing I said here, Goff is the elder statesman of the NFC North. At quarterback, he's the adult in the room. Caleb is a rookie. Jordan Love is a young man. Scam Darnold is playing on borrowed time. This is your opportunity to – yeah, I said we're going to celebrate here momentarily. So for me, Goff, this is your opportunity to kick the Rams in the ass. I think they traded you a year too early. I think you could have won that Matt Stafford Super Bowl and was not afforded the opportunity. So for me, this is your chance to show the world who you think you are. With that said, it's been a very, very, very long time since the Lions have played with house money. I think that they go into it the favorite. I think that Dan Campbell is a very good coach. And yes. I have the same notes that you have here. This team is good everywhere.
They are loaded.
Up and down the roster, across the board. Detroit, do not go full Detroit. This is your opportunity to turn around all the bad juju that you've had.
Bruh, they are legit too deep, dog, everywhere.
Yes. The Calvin Johnson bad juju, the Barry Sanders bad juju, just the Detroit juju in itself. This is your chance to get away from all of that. So for me, I want to see you guys do what you need to do here.
Yeah, they're good, man.
I'm actively rooting for this team.
They're obviously. I'm not even gonna say obvious. They in any other division in the NFC, I think they would be the hands down favorite, not just in the NFC division, but to go to the Super Bowl. But in this division, you still have this other team that's out there who did the quarterback thing right. It worked, and they have Jordan Love at quarterback, and they have all the receivers. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Green, Tavion Wicks. They got Luke Musgrave at tight end. The Green Bay Packers offense with who should have been the Atlanta Falcons head coach or offensive coordinator after the Super Bowl, Matt LaFleur. Dan Quinn messed that up.
Surely did.
This team, he's from the Shanahan tree. This team is lethal because Jordan Love knows the offense, and they don't have a go-to receiver. So there's nobody that you can't travel. You can't guard them. You saw what happened to Dallas. Dallas got absolutely smoked. Now, their defense is a little interesting because those cornerback, they did sign Xavier McKinney and they drafted Javon Bullard, who are starters. Eric Stokes has been playing well when he plays, but he gets hurt so much. And then of course, you have one of the best corners in the league in Jair Alexander. So you have these guys. Uh, of course, you have Quay Walker. Rashawn Gary is back after being hurt. Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Clark, Preston Smith, and T.J. Slayton. This team could win this division. They could beat the Lions.
This is where I just don't see it.
Really? Wow.
I don't see it. I'm not going to say that I can't be wrong, because clearly I can be, because I sure as hell didn't expect Florida State to lose back-to-back. Oh, and slew my boy. So it's no way that I can admit that sometimes I'm not perfect. We all fall short of the glory. I don't see it for the Packers. This is the Jordan Love era. I'm skeptical. I wish him the best. I like him, but I'm skeptical.
Well, I have more faith in the system, in the Shanahan system. That Shanahan system, no matter who runs it, it's like the McVay system. Those two guys they always end up being pretty well. But before the Vikings decided to get rid of all of their dudes and go young, Kirk Cousins, before he got hurt, they was out there putting up Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
You got
and Diggs and whoever.
Then you got the Bengals had a one of those just offensive guys. I believe in LaFleur. I believe with the pre-snap motion, they're one of the best schemed offenses in the league. That defense is no longer young. That defense was young for the past 2 years. All those guys are in their second and third and fourth year. So I expect for them to put it together. I expect for them to be a legit threat against the Lions. I expect for them to fully get at least a wild card, and it would be a disappointment if they didn't at least get a wild card. Big disappointment.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about
the Bears.
Let's talk about the Bears.
The Bears. Shout out to the Bears. Unfortunately for Justin Fields, they decided to make all of the changes that you would have needed to be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears after they traded you. With that being said, there's a clear difference between you and Caleb Williams. There's a clear difference. Caleb Williams came in and lit that place on fire. They got DeAndre Swift. They added Keenan Allen, drafted Rome Odunze. Shout out to the Falcons. We could have had a 4th-round pick for nothing. They still have Cole Kmet. They have a decent offensive line. Defensive line-wise, they still have DeMarcus Walker and Montez Sweat. They did try to go get Judon. Shout out to the Falcons for getting Judon. They have Tremaine Edmonds. Jalen Johnson looks like he's going to be one of the best corners in the league. Tyreek Stevenson, quietly as kept, was really, really good last year out of Miami/Georgia. Kevin Byard, they have him at safety with Jaquan Brisker. They did lose Eddie Jackson. Their right side defensive end is probably a little skeptical. DeMarcus Walker. They have Gervon Dexter and Andrew Billings at defensive tackles. Gervon Dexter is supposed to take a big step this year. He is a massive individual. He's probably Jordan Davis, just more athletic. Jordan Davis is 350. He's 300. So he's a little bit more athletic, but he's still both 6'6", both can move and do all of those things. So the Bears, along with Caleb Williams, are set. DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson. They have an interesting roster. It's how quickly they can put everything together and get on the same page. Because Keenan Allen is and Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, they are a beast.
That is,
and DJ Moore.
Those are my two things. Number one, you are starting a new culture, completely new culture. Not just like, hey, we've struggled for like last 3 or 4 years. This is the first time in Bears history that they're supposed to have a high-powered passing attack.
Yeah.
It's never been their thing. So, number one, that's the start. The second point is have so many new toys. Is figuring out a way to make sure that everybody gets enough touches to be happy, and where can we make the most hay while the sun shines? So where can we be the most effective at the same time with keeping everybody happy? Because we got to keep these people happy, because we don't need to give up any of these guys, because we got to keep these guys for the QB to be happy.
Not skill positions. I think the biggest question mark, if they have one, is offensive line. If you've seen Caleb make some of these plays, they are spectacular, but he is on the move, which doesn't bode well for eventually when you get to the pros. It's very few times where the defense can't scheme you up after they see you for one or two drives, couple quarters. It's only a few that you can't, especially a rookie quarterback. Now, he does have the ability to break the scheme because he could just extend the game. He could extend the play. But I do expect for them to have some growing pains, but I don't expect for them to finish last. I expect for Minnesota to be dead awful. I expect for them to be trash. Minnesota's going to be bad.
And don't forget, the Bears have Montez Sweat. I think that if they can get everything else to be pretty good, and then you have to invest your future picks on offensive linemen, that's a solution to a problem, a simple solution to a problem. If honestly, that's all I'm looking for now. Every year, let me just draft 7 offensive linemen. And if we can find 5, we'll be good. That's all we got to do for like 3. Just go full Cowboys. That's what the Cowboys did. We're going to get these offensive linemen. We're going to get the guys who we need in order to protect the quarterback. But this team, this is a better roster than
they've had in the last 10 years.
Oh, I'm not even considering the Bears. I'm talking about the rest of the NFL.
Oh.
Boy, y'all back trash. TRASH, trash. The only thing that I'm thinking about is you're probably better than probably the top half of the NFL. I think this roster is top half of the NFL roster.
So you think maybe the NFC North gets 2 teams in, or 3, or 1? 4 division champs. 4 division champs, 3 wild cards.
We can be quick with the Vikings. Scam Darnold, your quarterback. He's trash. Fire yourself. I'm wondering, can they keep this team together to make it to next year when J.J. McCarthy will be your starting quarterback? If I'm Justin Jefferson, I told y'all. I want out of here. I want out. Because I don't even really want to play with J.J. McCarthy. I sure as hell don't want to play with Scam Darnold. So that's really my question is, can you keep this team wanting to compete as a team? Because your quarterback play is going to be terrible. And like, what is the expectation of the Minnesota Vikings this year?
To be boo, boy. Well, I mean, so your quarterback, you're gonna get J.J. McCarthy back next year. This is you have Justin Jefferson under contract. Jordan Addison, if he can just not get in trouble, he's a very good number 2 receiver. He reminds me of Calvin Ridley, to be honest. Yep. Then you have Jalen Naylor. But that defense, when they let everybody go. They don't have really.
Well, they got what's his name from Houston? He played at Florida.
Jonathan Greenard. Gosh, that was in the trade Bernard. But they gave up Daniel Hunter.
It wasn't a trade.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't on paper. It wasn't a trade, but that was a trade. Yeah. They had to get rid of Greenard to sign Hunter. And that, to me, I like Greenard, and hopefully he has more of an opportunity to show his abilities. But that's a downgrade. As you look at it now, that's a Daniel Hunter. That's a downgrade.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Because Hunter is older, Greenard is younger. I think they're about the same. But if give me the younger guy who hasn't got to his peak yet, versus Hunter, who I think is seeing his best years. But even with that, we really
they are 19 months apart, 29 and 27.
Damn, oh, you're right, because he played at Louisville first,
and he had the COVID years
to Florida.
And he had the COVID years.
Oh, so I mean, you're right, I guess. But at the same time, once again, we're talking about a team who we think. Let's go ahead and rank these teams. I got the Lions at 1, Bears at 2, Packers at 3. Vikings 2025.
Same. Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. I think the Lions are just too strong. I think the Lions are too strong. I think the Bears will give the Packers a scare. The Vikings, I wouldn't even. If I'm Justin Jefferson, I have a lingering high ankle sprain for the rest of the year. Like I'm not.
What?
I'm
not even wasting anybody's time. I want out of here. Y'all are not gonna get it together until my prime is over. I'm not wasting no more days here.
They just made him the highest paid receiver, which that contract is gonna be a steal in the next 3 years too. Anyway, because Jamar Chase about to redo that. So, it's unfortunate for the Vikings. They kind of were like right in the midst of being a contender in the division, at least for the division crown. And then Kirk Cousins was like, "Nah, I'm out," and they just
nope. That's not what did them in. That's not what did them in. The Falcons ruined them. I think they had a very, very confident thought process. Penix solves their problems.
Oh well, yeah.
Penix would have solved every problem they had.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap quarterback. He can chuck it. You had your two receivers. We can now allocate this money that we had spent on Kirk in the past, and everybody's on about the same timeline. Now, we're stuck with, and stuck with this first year. I just got to coach this team with Scam Darnold playing quarterback, a travesty. Then when I get my starter back, I get the guy who's never been an elite passer. J.J. McCarthy wasn't an elite passer for Michigan.
He ran the ball. Jim Harbaugh got him drafted.
And I have two guns out here. I got arguably the best wide receiver and quietly one of the best steals of the draft in the last few years. And J.J. McCarthy, he going to run the ball and then hand it to him? How does this work?
It's ugly. Yeah, Justin Jefferson may try to force a trade, but if I'm Minnesota, if I do that, then I'm building everything around JJ. I might as well trade Jordan Addison too, and just get all of the draft picks that I could possibly get and rebuild around JJ. But then you risk of putting JJ. I mean, you can, or you can do what the Bears did with Justin Fields. I mean, there's ways that you can play it. It depends on your patience.
Look at J.J. McCarthy. Like, you also have to assess how good the asset is. If it don't work with what do you think the chance that it was going to work with J.J. McCarthy? You can look at the guys over the last 7 years. He ain't going to be one of those top 10 guys.
No.
He's not going to be better than Richardson. He's not going to be better than C.J. Stroud.
You think they forced his hand? Do you think they forced their hand this year? The Falcons.
Best available. Yes. Best, like, after the Falcons broke the draft, they broke the draft for this year, the last draft that just happened, and this draft. Because now there's a higher value on these draft picks, and there's just less good quarterbacks to go around. Like Quinn Ewers and Shedeur Sanders and maybe Carson Beck.
Jackson.
But I don't love any of those guys as much as I love Caleb Williams and I love Michael Penix Jr. and I love Jaden Daniels. None of these guys is the romance there. It's like, I guess I'll take you.
Yeah, it's tight. It's tight. So we have the NFC North. We have the Lions winning. The NFC West, we have the 49ers. The NFC East, we have the Eagles. NFC South, we have the Falcons. Those are our 4 division winners for that. We won't do wild card just because you have to kind of go through the schedule to do that, because wild card don't depend on division. So what we'll do is we'll release our bracket, just kind of showing our playoff picks, and we'll go from there. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of part 1 of the Splashcast NFL preview. We've done the NFC. We were going to take a break. Y'all go like, follow, subscribe, and then we'll be back for the AFC, which is going to be a little bit more debate, I believe. NFC is kind of cut and dry a little bit. AFC is going to be a little bit more debate.
Numero uno. This is a great way to get us back into NFL football. I'm happy about it. With that said, see y'all soon. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Adios, mi amigos.
We'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned. Appreciate it. All right. Let's press pause. All right.
Let's go again tomorrow.
What time?
I mean, 6 my time. We already ready to rock.